Okay, so good morning, guys. Good morning. Yes, is my voice is clear? I'm audible. Okay, sir. So the starting of the session itself, I told you that every platform is nowadays giving the duration of each presentees or each attendees. So when they are going to enter the meeting and when they are leaving and how much time they are actively in this meeting. So it was supported by all this platform. But don't think that the staffs are not tracking you and how much time you are in this meeting and you are not in this meeting. So it's just for your information. It's part of a learning. Because if you are going to develop a application, so these are the criteria that you will be looking into how to create an application, new application. Okay, fine, sir. So let's start our session. Sir, since we are dealing with object-oriented programming concepts, so what I'm going to do is, sir, uh, what is an object or how can we create an object? I hope you know these answers because in the first session itself, I had told you, or in the previous, in the session one, I have told you how to create an object. Someone give me an example. So, how to create an object? Yes, I'm expecting some answers. I want anyone to give me an answer for that. Good. I got one answer. So, class name. So, object equal to new class name. And also, we know that what is that new class name? New class name with the bracket, ends with a bracket. So, what is that? Good. So, I'm getting a response from only one person. So, constructor. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. So that's fine. Yes, that's the way that we are going to create an object, or that is the way that we are going to allocate a memory or assign a value. So the default constructor will always assign a default values. That is, as your friend suggested, that class name with empty bracket. In the sense, it is going to call a default constructor, and the part of my or the use of my default constructor is used to assign the default values to the variables that are inside my class. So that is the use of my default constructor. Okay, sir. That's fine, sir. That's how to create an object. Okay, sir. Now my question is, sir, is Java is pure object-oriented language? Is Java is a pure object-oriented programming language, or can we tell it is a complete object-oriented programming language? So yesterday we have seen what are the concepts that are there in object-oriented programming concepts. So since it is going to be an object-oriented programming concept, every operations or every calculations or everything that what I'm going to do should be accessed, should be handled with an object. So I'm taking that as a constraint and I'm checking whether Java is a pure object-oriented programming language. since every operation is going to be handled with an object. The concepts that we seen yesterday is everything is going to be handled within an object. So taking that as a constraint or that is a criteria, then I have to find out whether this Java is a pure object-oriented programming language or not. Guys, any answers? Any thoughts? Instead of answers, I can tell it as any thoughts. Whether Java is a pure object-oriented programming language. Good? Good. So your friends are suggesting that, sir, no, sir, Java is not pure object-oriented programming language. No, sir, no, sir. Okay, fine. Why, sir? Why it is not pure object-oriented? Why it is not a pure object-oriented language? Why it is not a pure object-oriented programming language? Very good. Good, 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 good. Sir, if I have a primitive data type, then it is not a pure object-oriented language. Yes, your answer is correct. So as your friends are suggesting like Vidya Bharati or Sri Ramanan, so the answer is correct. So it has a primitive data type. Then if a language has a primitive data type, then that is considered as a non object-oriented programming language. Is that so? Now, what is the drawback with that primitive data types? What is the drawback with that primitive data type? So why we are not going to, or why it makes us not to use this object-oriented concepts? Okay, sir. To understand that, so now you guys have a reason that why these primitive data types are not going to support my object-oriented programming concepts. To know or to understand that clearly, we should know a class. We should know a class which is present in Java. So maybe I can show you on the screen so that you can able to understand it clearly. Yes, I'm sharing another one screen. Just see this. Yes, sir. So this is my API. So this is an API. So which describes about my class object. Which describes about my class object, and this object class is inside my language package java.lang. Java.lang is a package name. Inside that package I have this object class. Inside that I have this object class. Okay, sir. Now you tell me this, sir, what is this? Class object is the root of all class hierarchy. Every class has an object, as a super class. All the objects including arrays, implementation methods, so everything is going to be an object. Correct. So this is just an explanation about this class, and what we have to know is whatever the object that we are going to create, that is either it can be a student class, or it can be a user defined class, or it can be any class object. Everything comes under my object class. Everything comes under my, if I'm going to store a data, and that data is going to be stored inside an object, and that object is a part of this object class. this object class is the super class for all the classes, in Java. Because in Java, everything is class oriented. We cannot do anything without a class. We cannot do anything without a class. Correct? So everything is class oriented. If it is a class, then it supports object. And if supports object, then that object is a part of this object class. And this object class is a super class for all the classes in Java. Yes. So this is one important question. It's very, very important question. Which is a super class for all the classes in Java? This object class. Object class is a super class for all the classes in Java. Similarly, in which package it is? It is in language package. Java.lang. Java.lang, and that Java.lang is a super class, super package. It's a default package for all the classes. We don't want to import this language pack, or we don't want to import this object class, because it is a super class and it is a default package. So it will be assigned for all the classes, even the classes which we are going to create. So this is going to be a part of that. Yes. Okay, sir. Now, what are the methods this object class is going to support? Just see the methods that it is going to support. So this is going to support a clone method. A clone method which is used to create a clone of an object. A clone of an object. Equals method. So what is the use of my equals method? It is going to check whether two objects are equal or not. Include whether this object is going to be equal with some other object or not. Okay, sir. So next is going to be get class. So get class will return a type of my class. So yesterday we have seen it. So student one is an instance of student. So we are going to check with the class, specific class. Sir, I don't know what is the class name. Then I can just get the class name with this method. Object one dot get class. This will return the class name. By using this method alone, the main method is going to be run inside my JVM. So JVM is going to call this class get class method, and get class method is going to tell the class name and class name dot main. In that way, is the main function is going to run. Main method is going to run. So this is the get class method. Similarly, hash code. Hash code returns the reference address or the hash value of that object, specific object. So similarly, notify all toString. toString is to convert my object into a string and return it. So this is a default method. So these are my default methods. So this notify all, and wait or mainly used for serialization and for threads. So when we are going to learn about threads, then we will be knowing everything about this class. Okay, sir. So now we have this object class, and this object class is super class for all the classes. So this object class has some methods that are going to be used, or that are used to manipulate something. Yes. So here we have this equals method. So equals method in a sense which is going to check whether the objects are equal or not. Correct? Okay, sir. So, but if I'm going to use the collections, I hope you know this collections. What is meant by collections? In Python, you have seen this collections. Any idea of collections? Any idea about collections? So there are some concepts that always take only these objects. It will not. It is not a mandatory that it should only access objects, but it is preferred to use objects. It is not a mandatory thing that only this objects is to be used inside it, but it is preferred to use objects. So one part of that is going to be collection. So collection, serialization, and another one more thing. So everything is going to use the objects so that I can easily manipulate my data, or to easily retrieve my data, or do operations inside my data. So if I use the collections, then inside my collection, if I start to use my primitive data type, then I cannot use these methods, this object class methods. I cannot use this clone method. I cannot use this equal method. I cannot use this finalize method. I cannot use this hash code method. So because these are not supported by my primitive data types. Yes. So this is one reason why this Java is not a pure object-oriented programming language. Yes. Maybe I can share my entire screen so that you can be. Guys, can you able to understand what I'm telling? So why Java is not a pure object-oriented programming language? The reason I'm explaining why it is not a pure object-oriented programming language. Yes, this will work. So suppose the example which I told you is like int A is equal to 10 and int B equal to 20. Suppose if I want to add it, so what is my collections? Have you ever heard about list, dictionary, tuple? Ever hear about these words while learning Python? Yes, so that is a collections. That is a collection framework. So there is a part of collecting object or the easy way or the easily manipulate my objects. It is easy to manipulate my objects. So similarly, Java is also supporting collections. So C++ has its own way of collections, and Java has a collection framework, so which is inside my util package. We'll be learning about that collection in later. But Java supports collections, and similarly for serialization and threads for every process, it is going to be part of this. Without collection, we cannot create an application. So similarly, in Java, we have this list. So inside list, I'm going to create this. Just an example. I'm just giving an example. If you are not aware of it, don't worry. When you are going for collections, we'll be learning in detail. But it is not too much difficult for you. So just creating it as an array list. So this is equal to new array list of int. So if I want to compare whether the elements in array list are equal or not, so how can I check? So by default it is going to collect an object. So can I call this equal method? Can I call this equal method? Will this work? A dot equals of B. Will this work? A dot equals B. Will this work? Will this work? Because everything is going to be an object in Java, and object class is the superclass for all the all the classes in Java. And this object class has this equal method. Can I check whether A is equal to B with this method? Will this work? Yes, can you able to see my screen? Guys, can you able to see my screen or not? Yes. Now, my question is whether this will work fine. A dot equals of B. Will it work fine? Will it work fine? Is A is an object? Is A is an object? Is A is an object? Is A is an object or is B is an object? Because as we've seen, In this, I can call this method with an object. Object dot equals of another object. To do that, I want to know whether A is an object or B is an object. Yes. So if I go and check for my example, see this will give a detailed explanation. So how can I call my equals method? So this should be called with an object. So this is a non-null reference value x that is going to be an object. So x dot equals of x. Yes, guys, I hope you can hear me. Is A and B or object? 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 Come on, guys. Is A and B an object? See, if it is going to be an object, then I'll be having like this. Student is equal to new student. Come on, guys, respond me. Now I can tell this S is a reference variable which holds the object of a student. So similarly, whether A and B are objects. What happened? Yes, so I'm getting answer only from Saravanan or few persons. I don't know what are the rest of the students are doing. So Sri Ramanan, Vidya. So I'm getting only responses from these persons. Guys, are you there or not? Are you interested to listen or not? So the concept which I'm explaining you now is very, very important. So due to this, the something that is called as a wrapper class has been created in Java. So if you want to understand about wrapper class, then you should know why it has been created. So that is the reason I'm explaining you right now. Thank you. So till now I got only 10 to 15 responses, even after this. So totally around 50 students are there and I'm getting only 15 responses. That's not good. Okay, maybe we can do one thing. So those who are in online, just post your roll numbers. We can take the roll numbers as attendance. Will that be good? Yes. Just those who are in online and those who are listening, just post your roll numbers in the chat box. Yes. So everyone is online, but they are not responding. Yes. Don't worry, I'll not be taking this as attendance. I'll be calculating the duration of time. Just to know this. Just for this. Okay, fine. So this is the reason. Yes, this A and B are not an object. These are just primitive data types. And to check these two values, I can have to use this operator, that is A equal to B. So this is how we can normally check it. But inside my collection, this is not possible. So if it is going to be a collection, I can have any type of objects there. So that is a default thing. So it is not possible. So to overcome this, what Java developers did is, they created something called as wrapper classes. Wrapper class, which is nothing but a equivalent of my primitive data type. So if I have a data type called byte, then they have created a wrapper class called byte, which will convert my primitive data type to an object, which will convert my primitive data type to my object. So if it starts with small b, then that is called a primitive data type. If it starts with the capital B, then that is called a class, and that is called as a wrapper class, the equivalent of my byte data type. So similarly, short is a primitive data type, and capital short is my wrapper class. Similarly, int for each data type. So int is going to be integer. It is going to be integer, integer. So this is my wrapper class. This is my wrapper class. And similarly, long, for long, they have created some class called long, capital L, with the capital L. And similarly, for char, I have this class called character. Similarly, we know the string is already a class, so that is not an issue. And for bool, for boolean, we have a wrapper class called boolean. Yes. So they have created an equivalent class for the primitive data types. The primitive data types like byte, short, int, long, float. Similarly for float, there is a wrapper class called float with capital F. And double. So these are my wrapper classes. This is my primitive data type, and these are my wrapper classes. So with this help of my wrapper class alone, Java is going to achieve my full object-oriented programming. Yes, full object-oriented programming purposes. Correct? Without this wrapper classes, it is not possible to tell my Java as a pure object-oriented programming language. So this is the reason why they have created these wrapper classes. So now there is a concept called, so okay sir, then how can I convert this byte to my wrapper class object, or how to convert this wrapper, how to create an wrapper class object? So for that, there is nothing and no issues in it. So if it is going to be int a equal to 10, then I can directly convert my a into an wrapper class object by creating a variable for that wrapper class. So integer b equal to, I can directly assign the value. This is one way, or else I can call the method. So there is another one method called value of. So this is also one way to convert my primitive data type value into an object. Integer dot value of. So this integer is a class name, and inside that class I have a value of method which will convert my primitive values into an object. So now B and C are an object. See, this is a data type which starts with the capital. So this is called as a class. So class is called as a, if a variable is created for a class, then that is called as an object. Correct? So this is going to be a reference object. So this is called auto boxing. So in C we have called we know the concept called typecasting. Correct? Typecasting. So typecasting is converting from one data type to other data type. So similarly here, to convert my primitive data type to wrapper class object, this is called auto boxing. Yes. So these are the two ways I can convert my primitive data type into an wrapper class object. So this is supported for all this wrapper classes. Yes. So now can you get what is a wrapper class? What is meant by wrapper class? I can show you an example for this wrapper class also. So this wrapper class is also available inside our package. So inside our API. So we can go and check for my, maybe start with the integer. We have a character class also. See, these are my classes, correct? So you have this character class. We can also check with this character class, or else we can start with this integer class. Guys, if you want to learn Java in depth, then you have to open this API and you have to know what is this class and what is this class is going to do and what are the methods it's having. Without that, we cannot know or we cannot understand this and better. Yes. So I'm just going for EF GHI integer. Yes, integer image. Okay, here it is, integer. Just I'm opening this integer. So this integer class is present inside my lang package. It's present inside my lang package. So I don't want to import it separate classes for it. So I don't want to import a package for it. Just it will be supported by all this wrapper classes. Similarly, as we know that the range of my integer value. So that is the minimum value and maximum value. The minimum value is going to be minus 2 power 31. So since integer is a 32-bit value, 32-bit value in the sense it's going to support 32 bits. 32 bits in the bits. First bit is going to be a sign bit. So except sign bit, the 31 bits are considered as my value. So that is the range. So minimum value is going to be minus 2 power 31. Similarly, for positive value, it is going to be 2 power 31 minus 1 because we have 0 in it. We have 0 in it, correct? So integers value is going to be, integers byte is going to be 32 byte. So the range from minimum value is going to be from minus 2 power 31. So this is also a same replica of my integer in primitive data type. So here the minimum value is going to be 2 power 31, maximum is going to be 2 power 31 minus 1. The same. So I can get the size, the number of bits used in this. So these are my fields or my variables that are inside my wrapper class or inside my integer wrapper class. And also I can create an integer object by using these two methods, either an integer of value or I can create it as an integer of string. I can use these two methods. And similarly, it supports all these methods. So we have seen this bit count, which returns the number of bit counts and byte values. So compare, which is used to compare two different two integer values. Similarly, I can use the compare to check two integer values. So compare to and compare will give the two different values, correct? So similarly, we have a double value. If I want to convert my integer into a double value, then I can use this double value. That is integer dot double value. This will return the double value of it. Object dot double value. Similarly, I can use this equals method. So now you can see here, this is supporting my equals method. This is present inside my object class. This integer class is going to support my equals method. Now, apart from it, it also has so many values. If I want to convert my integer into float value, I can use this float value so that my value will be directly converted to my float value. So it is nothing but a typecasting. Yes? Yes, guys. So this is my float value. Similarly, get integer, hash code, and int value. This will return an integer value, return a value for that integer as int. So it will convert my integer value, that is my object, to my primitive data type. So you can see here, this is the return type of my object. So you can see this. So this is a modifier or return type, and this is my method name. So this is my method name, and the return type is going to be a int type. So modifier is going to be a static. So by default, it will be all in the public or in a package level access. So it is very similar to anyone can access. So if it has a specific modifier like static final, then that will be represented here. Yes. So apart from that, the return type is going to be, for example, get integer will return an integer. Integer in the sense it's going to be a wrapper class object. So hash code is going to be written a reference variable. So there is going to be a type of int. So similarly, int value is to convert my integer value to a primitive data type. So that is my auto boxing, and what is it? Another one word I forgot it. I forgot the reverse process name. Auto boxing and yes, unboxing. I think so. Unboxing, auto boxing. I forgot the names. So this is how we can convert my integer into a primitive data type. So this will return a long value. So we have this. We have these many methods that is supported by my wrapper classes. This is not only in this. The same functions, the same methods is also be supported by my character class. So character class is also an equivalent of my character data type. So since the character class is a wrapper value of a primitive type of char in an object, correct? So this is also a wrapper class for my character. So this has some specific features because this is going to be a character. So character is starting from Unicode. So it has a Unicode. It will support my Unicode. So it has specific values in it. So what is the space? What is this punctuation? What is this? So everything is supported by character. So everything that is supported by a character is already modified into a character wrapper class. Yes. And these are the methods. So character count, how many characters are there, and what is the character value that is going to return the equivalent ASCII value or Unicode value. So ASCII table and Unicode is a combination of ASCII code plus some advanced codes. So that is my Unicode and all the functions. So as you can see, if I want to convert my character into an integer, I can return it. So I can check whether it is whether it is a digit, whether it is equals, whether it is an alpha, like that. So I can get it. So yes, here you can check it. So use digit, whether the given character is a digit, whether the given character is an identifier, whether the given character is a where is it, alphabet? It's an alphanumeric. I'll be having a method like this. Okay. It's a Java letter. So Java letter is changed to, yes, it is a letter. Specific whether character is a letter or not. So see here, letter or digit. So alphanumeric is a previous method. Then now we can check it as a letter or digit, which will check whether the given character is a number or a digit. So I can convert into a lowercase, I can convert into an uppercase. So all these methods are all the things that are related to my characters available inside my character wrapper class. Yes. So these are my wrapper classes which supports my advanced features, which makes me to code easily. Yes. So which makes me to code easily or do my operations easily, because I don't want to write a specific code to convert my character from uppercase to lowercase, because it is already there inside my character class. I can directly convert my character to a character class, and I can directly call this method to upper or to lower, or whether I can check whether it is a is upper or is lower. I can directly call this function, so that I don't want to write again and again repeated codes to check whether my code is going to be a is lower or is upper, like that. Yes. Yes, guys. Can you all able to understand this? Is that clear? What is the use of wrapper class? So this is one usage, that is a calling of methods or using inside my collection. So so after 1.5, that is after Java 1.5, they have given this specific generic types like the list of integers. So they started to use list of integers, but before that there is no generic type like this. So we'll be creating a list like this, list of AL and list new array list. So inside this array list, I can add any data type. It can be an integer, it can be a float, it can be of a double, it can be of string, it can be of another list. I can add any data type. So which made the programmers or the developers to a little bit difficult. To overcome that, they introduced this concept called generic. So inside which tells that this list is going to hold only the type of integers, or this list is going to hold only the type of float, or this list is going to hold only the type of some specific data type. So that is the thing that they have added after 1.5, Java 1.5. Okay, sir. So this is one advantage. So if I have converted all these objects into a wrapper class object, so what happens? So I can convert my normal primitive data type into a wrapper class object, or I can directly create it like this. I can directly create like this, integer d equal to 40. I can directly create it like this. Now this A is a primitive data type and this D is a user defined object. Sorry, it is a wrapper class object. It is a wrapper class object. Yes, is that clear, guys? Similarly, I can do for all the data types. Yes, is that clear? Is that clear? Yes, super. Okay, sir. So there is one more advantage. There is one more advantage for it. There's one more advantage of this wrapper classes. There's one more advantage. So this is one thing is using inside my collections or calling a methods. So now with this, I can call this method. Now I can call this by using this variables or these objects. I can call this like b dot equals of d. Now I can call this with this. This will work fine. This will check whether my A is, sorry, whether my value inside B is equal to the value inside B and return a value as either true or false. Correct? True or false. I don't want to write a specific code for this. But I cannot use it like this because A is not a primitive data type. So I cannot use it like this. This will throw an error. Correct? This will throw an error. This is one advantage. I can do every operations using this methods. Similarly, that compare to is to check whether my string is greater than or less than or greater than or equal to or less than or equal. Like when I can sorry guys, I can use that compare to method to compare my both the values. So this is error because A is a primitive data type and B is a object. I cannot call a method. I cannot call a method with the primitive data type. This is one drawback. Okay. So next is going to be, sir, the default value for integer. What is the default value for integer, sir? What is the default value for integer? Int. Good. Only one answer I received. What about the rest? Good. So 0 is the default value. This is a default value. But 0 is also a value, correct, sir? 0 is also a value. Yes, we are telling it as a default value, but 0 is also going to represent a default value. It's going to represent a value. Yes, which says that the value is already initialized. Initialized. Yes. It says that the value is already initialized. Suppose if I want to give a default value or I want to check only after a student is coming inside, this value should be initialized. Only after a presence of a student, this value should be initialized. Can I do that? Can I do that? Without initialization, can I keep a value as empty? Is there any possible way to keep a value without initializing any values? Without initializing any values? Is there a way? So that is not possible in a normal primitive data type. So with wrapper classes, we can do this. We can assign a value as null to it, which states that no value has been initialized till now to this, because this B is going to be an object. Since object is nothing but a reference variable, it is going to hold a reference value or reference variable where this value is going to be stored. This 10 where it is going to be stored, the reference value will be stored inside my B. Correct? So due to this will support to have a value as null. Now I can tell that this value B is not yet initialized. Yes? Can you get the difference between normal primitive data type and the wrapper class value? Can we initialize null to a value A? Will it accept? Can I initialize A equal to null? And A is a primitive data type. So A is a normal primitive data type. Will this work? Will it accept? Will it accept? Yes, will it accept? So this is also one advantage of my wrapper class. Good, super. Thank you guys. Thank you. Yes, so this is the advantage of my wrapper classes. I can call a method by using this object. I can assign a null value to this object. I can assign a null value to this object. These are some advantage of using my wrapper classes instead of my primitive data type. So from today, we can start using this wrapper classes instead of using my primitive data type. So everything that we are going to create inside my class is going to be an object. Yes, by using this wrapper class. We are not going to create an initial value like int a equal to 10, int b equal to 20, or character c equal to 1 or f. So like that, I'm not going to create anything into my data. Just we are going to use this as a wrapper class object. Yes. So by doing so, the complete object-oriented concepts can be implemented by using Java. Without wrapper classes, we cannot achieve this full implementation of my object-oriented concepts. Yes, so this is very, very important, guys. Without this wrapper classes, we cannot achieve our goal. We cannot achieve our object-oriented complete implementation of our object-oriented programming concepts. It is very, very important. Yes, is that clear? Is anyone having any doubts regarding this? Good. So today I'm going to give some task. So maybe by Monday we'll be seeing. So during lab session we'll be seeing. So during the lab session, I want you guys to go and check for all these wrapper classes. As I mentioned, so these are some wrapper classes like byte, short. So these are my primitive data types. We have the equivalent wrapper classes for this. I want you all to check all these wrapper classes, and I want you to find the common methods on all these wrapper classes. There are some common methods that are available in all these wrapper classes. Some common methods like toString or equals, compare, compare to. These methods are available in all these wrapper classes. I want you to list all the common methods that are available in all these wrapper classes. And if you want to find out all these common methods, then you have to go and look into this API. Without this API, we cannot find it. So go and check for this API, and in this API's methods, we can take this. See, one example is value of and toString and what? It's just I was checking with the integer and character. So with this I can tell this toString is there. Yeah, hash code is there. Hash code is there, and equals is there. Equals. So compare is not here. Yeah, compare is here. Compare to is here. So compare and compare to is present in character, and this is also present in integer class. So I can see with this wrapper class. See, toString is there. Value of is there. Value of is also present inside my integer class. ToString is also present inside my integer class. Similarly, I have so many classes here. So many methods here. So hash code is there. Hash code is there, and also compare to, or here. Correct. So these are the common methods that are present in character and integer class. Similarly, I want you guys to check for the rest of the classes like byte, short, long, integer, character, boolean, float, double. Did I miss any specific data type, any primitive data type? I hope I have listed all the primitive data types. Did I miss any primitive data type? Did I miss any primitive data types? Yes, guys. I hope these are the primitive data types. There is nothing that we left. Okay. Okay, fine. So this is very important when we are going to see with an object. If I'm going to create an object and this primitive data types cannot be an object. So to convert this primitive data type into an object, we are going to use this wrapper classes, and with the help of this wrapper classes, we are going to convert my primitive data types into an object. And the process of converting primitive data type into an object is called autoboxing, and the reverse process is called unboxing. I don't know if I got the name. Reverse process, I forgot the name. Autoboxing and unboxing. So these are two important concepts. So how I'm going to convert from primitive data type to wrapper class, that is going to be by using this integer dot value of will convert my integer to a integer object, or I can directly assign the value here. This also will convert my normal data type, normal value into an object. So the reverse process is going to convert dot int value. So like if I want to reverse this, so like if I want to convert my d to my primitive data type, so like int e, so equal to d dot int value of this will convert my integer object to my primitive data type. This will convert my integer object into a primitive data type. So this is called auto boxing and unboxing. Yes, yes, guys, auto boxing and unboxing. I hope you know I better understand this. What is meant by auto boxing and what is meant by unboxing? Yes, is that clear? Is that clear? Any doubts in this? Any doubts? Okay, so with this, I'm stopping today. So I want your feedback about the sessions. Whether the session is going fast or whether it's going good or whether you're able to understand it clear. So please be open. I want to know whether you are able to understand the concept that I'm delivering, or whether it is going very fast, or whether we want any examples to be implemented, or you want any different way to teach. If you are expecting any different way, then you suggest me, then I can change the thing. I just want the feedback from you guys. Yes. Any feedbacks? Yes, guys. It's not going to be difficult. Just I'm going to stop sharing. Yes. Come on, guys. I want a feedback from you. Guys, are you there? Can you able to listen me? Can you able to listen? Yes, you can unmute and you can tell, or else you can post it in chat box, or without your feedback, there's no use of going by friend going forward. Yes, guys. Any specific feedback? Sir, it would be better if it is like this. Any feedbacks like this? Or the way that we are going is good? Okay, some examples. Noted. Noted. Yes. Any other things? So, guys, If it is good or bad, I don't know. I just want to know your, your true opinion about this session. Okay. Okay, let me slow down a bit. Okay, the way I'm talking is fast, or the way I'm covering the concepts is fast. Okay, I will just slow down my voice and I will be slow down the both. Actually, if you compare with others, I don't know whether at which point of your, but my observation, like one. Okay, fine, no issues. I will reduce it. I will reduce it. Okay, I will reduce it. But right now they are going to complete the second unit. But we now only have started the second unit. We have covered with only one topic. So tomorrow we have to see about classes, constructors, and after that we'll be going. So in the next session we'll be seeing about classes and constructors. If you are interested, you can go through this. Okay, guys. I also have one more thing to ask. So I'm planning to post some quizzes in classroom. Are you guys are interested to take up the quiz? Since we have completed one modules and we have started the second module, maybe it's a good to have a quizzes. If you are okay with that, then I'll be posting it in the Google Classroom. By weekend, I'll be posting it by weekends so that it will not affect any of the classes. Okay, good. So there is no issue for you guys, correct? So I'll be posting some quizzes. I'll be posting some quizzes so that it is very useful for us, so that we can understand how much we have learned and how much we so where we have to focus, like that. So I'll be creating a Google form, or tell me whether we can keep it in Google form or whether we can keep in Edmatrix. Whichever is, which one will be helpful for you, whether in Google form or in Edmatrix. Okay, fine. I'll be going with Google form, and I'll be posting in Google Classroom. So, but I'm expecting everyone to attend it and everyone to take a part of it. See, this is a part of learning. There's nothing to be in wrong. Yes, if it is wrong, the only thing that we want to do is we want to learn and to understand why it is wrong. We have to learn the correct answers or learn the correct concepts or correct way. Yes, if it is, don't feel that this is wrong, so I'm not. I feel like I have answered wrong, so this is why I'm not learning properly. That is not that is not the reason here. Why we are came here? We want to learn something. If it is wrong, no issues. We are going to correct that. That's it. Yes. So I'll be explaining the solutions also. Don't worry. So whenever a quiz is open, so I'm planning about 2 to 5, minimum 2 quizzes, maximum of 5 quizzes for single unit. I'll be posting it and I'll be sharing the messages. I'll be sharing the messages so that we can start solving it. And as a part of um, Swayam, that is NPTEL courses, it's already too late. There also we have to complete all our tasks. So week 1 and week 2 we have to complete within this week as a part of NPTEL courses. Yes, yes, guys. So feel free if you have any setbacks or if you feel anything that you want to share, you can directly share it to my WhatsApp or you can directly call me and you can tell me. Yes. Yes, guys. Yes. So it's already time. So thank you all. If you have anything, you can just ping me. Thank you all. Yes, thank you, Tarun. Yes. Is there anything you want to share? Sandhya, Sri Raman. Yeah, Sri Raman. Sri Kaushik, Raja, Vinith, Sujit.